Hi, I'm Pat Gibson, and this is my story. I was a person who was very insecure. I basically looked for love anywhere I could get it. Never feeling, God, did you bring anybody in my life that could truly love me, that would walk in and truly, truly love me. Had no joy in my heart, and I couldn't find the joy at all. I was in a very, very dark place for a long time. A dark place that I thought I was okay with, and I couldn't get out of that black hole. Back in January, I thought, okay, I've got this made. I start with my Social Security, I'm paying all my bills off, and I can retire. And one day I walked in and they told me my position had been eliminated. I was devastated. I had no idea that was gonna happen, none. So when I left, I called my daughter and I said, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna pay my bills? How am I gonna do anything? How am I gonna live? And we would talk about it at home, my granddaughter, and she says, Grandma, this is a blessing. It's God's blessing, so you can learn to take care of yourself and not everybody else that you take care of. I said, well, I don't see it. And so I went into a very deep, dark depression that I just couldn't see. Why would God want to take care of me? I'm not worth it. So as time went on, I looked and looked for jobs, and I'd pray when I go on interviews. They never called me back. So finally one day I just said, I told my granddaughter Shayna, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna quit for a while. I'm done, I'm tired, and I just can't do it. And so she said, Grandma, you can't let yourself get down. You've got to get up. And I said, I don't know how. And she said, will you please come to Sea Life? So I said, okay, I'll go. Randy spoke. I was home. It was like God said, this is where you're supposed to be now. And so there was a service, and I can't remember exactly what it was on, but Casey and I talked, and I said, there's something that I don't think anyone will ever forgive me for, even God. I had guilt all my life. There was things that happened when I was married and things with my kids, and I just couldn't let it go. I always felt guilty. And so I kept talking, and I finally looked at Randy and I said, Randy, I need to talk. Can you help me? And Randy said, well, maybe we need to get you some help. And so he got me with this counselor, and she was amazing. She taught me that God could love me no matter what, that he would forgive me and probably has already forgiven me, and I need to learn to forgive myself. So I kept talking to her, and I thought, you know what? Maybe I can do this at CG. So we're sitting at CG one night, and we were just all talking, and it was like there was something that hit me and said, it's time. You need to let this go where you can breathe and you can enjoy your life and get your joy back. So I told them I had something to tell them, that I hoped that they understood and did not hold it against me or judge me. And so I let them know what had happened as when I was married and with my kids, just things that I'd held so long and guilty. And I got through, and I felt this peace in my heart. And I thought, wow, I feel like I've let something really go. They didn't judge. They look at me and say, we've done things too. It's okay. So that kind of started the healing, but I could feel him with me in all of this. There was such a peace and hope in my life, and I thought, okay, God, now I need a job. I'm patient, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, but I need a job. So it rocked along another two and a half weeks. My friend called, I hadn't talked to her in probably 6 or 7 years, and she says, my daughter's place is looking. So I sent her my resume, and she called me, and she said, it's your job if you want it. And it was just like a little thing hit me on the arm, and at one weekend, and I was talking about it to God, and I said, okay, is this where you want me? Please tell me. And he just kind of put a little nod on my shoulder and said, this is where you need to be. And I thought, okay, God, okay, I hear you, I'll do this. And I took the job. And I just look at myself and I just think, I have joy. If it hadn't been for God and this church and the CG groups, I'd still be in that dark hole. My CG group, the love that they gave me when they found out I lost my job, they lifted me up so much. I didn't have to worry about being alone. The community is not a community, it's a family, and it's my family that God has brought to me to help me understand you are loved, you are wanted, You are not an accident. For people that wonder, is God really there? He is. He changed my life to a life that is so full and rich that I can't even imagine going back to where I was. I know no matter what I go through, He's going to be beside me.